Pete Crow Armstrong was lost, but now he is found.
Crow Armstrong launches that one deep. Back that one goes, and that one is out.
The Cubs' top prospect has found something to take him to the next level, but what is it? Did he change his swing? Did he get advice from a teammate? Did he learn the perfect pregame meal?
Yum.
Let's take a look at what has made him one of the best hitters on the Cubs in the last 3 weeks. Since July 27th, Pete Crow Armstrong is a changed man. But before I get into that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you know when a new video gets dropped. Also, I have to let you know I'm making this on August 14th, which means that the game on August 14th against the Cleveland Guardians is not counted. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's move on. Now, I don't usually geek out on the numbers. I'll be honest, I'm pretty old school when it comes to being a baseball fan. I still believe in batting average. I love the RBI. And if you asked me what WOBA was, I'd probably sound like Donald Trump and Joe Biden talking at the same time.
She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
We finally beat Medicare.
Yeah, not pretty, but I've been fascinated with how PCA has turned his season around, so for that reason, I had to get into the numbers to find out why. If you like numbers, you're going to love this video, but I'm still going to try to make it simple enough so that everyone, including myself, can really understand how special this kid has been in the last 16 games. And for those of you who are old school like me, make sure you stay till the end to see what changes I've discovered about Pete's swing that seem to be making all the difference. So before we get into the why or the how of Pete's improvement, we have to look at the what. In other words, what's been the big deal? Well, let's just look at the numbers. Before July 27th, in 195 plate appearances, PCA was hitting 180, getting on base at a 230 clip, slugging just 292. His BABIP, also known as batting average for balls put in play, was only 232. He was striking out at 26.2% of the time, and he wasn't hitting the ball very hard, just an average of 83.3 miles per hour for the exit velocity, and he was only hitting the ball over 95 miles per hour or hard hit rate 30% of the time. Just so you have something to compare this to, Seiya Suzuki, definitely the Cubs' best hitter this year, has an average exit velocity of 91.9 miles per hour and is hitting the ball hard 49% of the time here in 2024.
That's amazing.
But since July 27th, look at the change. He's now hitting 304, he's slugging 518, and that includes 3 triples in his last 16 games. He has an OPS of 834. He's only striking out 12.1% of the time, which is less than half of the 26 it used to be at, and now his BABIP is 333. He's also reaching Seiya's numbers for hard hit balls during that time. He has an average exit velocity of 90 miles per hour and a hard hit rate over 50%. And crazy enough, he's also doubled his batting average against fastballs since July 27th. We'll look more into that a little bit later on. Oh, and you know that whole WOBA stat that I mentioned earlier? Well, it turns out that went up too. His expected WOBA was a pretty miserable 218 on July 26th, and now today it's 303, and according to Baseball Savant, that's league average. Sweet! Also, if you really want to know what WOBA is, I linked the MLB definition in the description. So now the question is why? Why have all the stats and metrics suddenly shot up in the last 3 weeks? We've heard it on the broadcast. Manager Craig Counsell has said he's making better decisions at the plate and he's chasing less. Okay, Craigery, that's a great summary, but I'd like to quantify that for all the fine Cubs fans out there. So here's what I found. My first question was just how much less is he really chasing? According to Baseball Savant, Pete was getting an average of just under 1 chase-worthy pitch per plate appearance before July 27. What is defined as a chase-worthy pitch? Well, pretty much anything in the yellow or the light gray on the strike zone that you see on your screen. For context, the purple is the actual strike zone. So he had 192 of these chase pitches thrown to him in 195 plate appearances. He swung at 63 of them, which equated to a 33% chase rate on these types of pitches. Since July 27th, though, he's getting slightly less of these pitches, only 48 chaseable pitches in 58 at-bats, which comes out to basically about 8 chase pitches for every 10 at-bats, but he's chasing 10% less of these pitches. That may not seem significant, but it's actually huge. Before July 27th, he was basically chasing 3 chase pitches for every 10 he saw. Now he's only chasing 2 for every 10 he sees. Just to really put this in perspective for you, if he keeps up that pace over the course of a 500 plate appearance season, that's roughly 50 chase pitches that he does not swing at. But Kyle, you said it yourself, pitchers are throwing less chaseable pitches in his last 16 games. Well, very true, and thank you for calling me out on that. This led me to my next question. Are pitchers pitching in his favor now? In other words, did Pete change little to nothing, but just happens to be on a lucky streak of pitchers missing their spots or having a bad scouting report on him? The short answer of that is not really. So breaking it down into these three zones that you see, the chase/waste, the shadow is just outside of the strike zone, and then the heart of the strike zone, which is the strike zone. Plus, we asked the question, how many of each of these types of pitches is being thrown to Pete per at bat? The numbers are pretty similar before and after July 27th. The largest gap was between the chase pitches. Before July 27th, it was 0.98 per plate appearance. After July 27th, it was 0.83 per plate appearance. But for pitches thrown in the shadow, which is just a fancy term for pitches that are close to the strike zone, PCA was seeing 1.5 of these every plate appearance, and now in his last 16 games, he's seen about the same amount at 1.4. And how about pitches that are in the zone? Before July 27th, it was 1.08 pitches per plate appearance in the zone, but now it's slightly less at an even 1 per plate appearance. So to summarize, yes, he's seen slightly less chase-worthy pitches, but he's also seen about the same or very slightly less hittable pitches. And I think this provides a very clarifying observation. Remember how earlier in the video I compared PCA to Seiya? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, here it is again. Just so you have something to compare this to, Seiya Suzuki, definitely the Cubs' best hitter this year, has an average exit velocity of 91.9 miles per hour and is hitting the ball hard 49% of the time here in 2024. Okay, all caught up? Well, we all know that Seiya is at his best when he's being aggressive at swinging at strikes in the zone. Well, that's pretty much what we're seeing from Pete Crow Armstrong. Now, Pete is already a very aggressive hitter. He doesn't walk often, and during this hot streak, he only has 1 walk in the 16 games. So it's not like he's passive, but during this hot streak, he's been even more aggressive on strikes in the heart of the zone. Before July 27th, he swung at 165 of 210 strikes in the heart of the zone. That's a 78.6% swing rate. Since July 27th, he's swung at 52 of the 58 strikes in the heart of the zone that he's seen. That's an 89.6% swing rate. That's 11% more swings, and this is where I think we truly find our answer as to why PCA is putting up the numbers that he is. While you look at players like Isak Paredes, Cody Bellinger, Mike Tauchman, who go deep into counts and typically have a higher on-base percentage, that's not Pete's game. The 22-year-old, based on the numbers we are seeing, should not let strikes go by. He should be swinging anytime he gets a pitch in the zone, and that's basically what has been working for him the last 16 games. By swinging at strikes more often, that means he's swinging earlier in counts, and that gives him less of a chance to see a chase pitch. So at the moment, yes, it's likely that Pete is learning to chase less, but it's also possible that he's chasing less because he's attacking strikes early and often.
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
I said he's attacking strikes 11% more often. So by doing that, he's more likely to put the ball in play earlier, and that will mean that he will see less chase pitches. Also, remember earlier when I talked about his batting average against fastballs? Well, this also addresses a potential answer to that question. Again, before July 27th, Pete was batting just 170 against fastballs. Now, doubled that to 343. Well, here's the thing. Many pitchers, even in today's world of pitching backwards, are still more likely to throw a fastball on the first 2 to 3 pitches of the at-bat in an effort to get ahead than any other pitch. In 2023, 47.6% of pitches were fastballs of some variety. As you can see by this graph on Fangraphs, that's at least twice as many as any other pitch. So in theory, if Pete is attacking strikes more often, it's possible he's swinging at more hittable fastballs, where in 195 plate appearances before July 27th, he was slightly less aggressive on fastballs in the zone. But that's just a theory. So what's the real answer? Well, maybe ask Pete. I don't know. But I can tell you that he has made one very minor change, and it may be making all the difference. One word: wiggle. Okay, no, 2 words: no wiggle. Take a look at these swings pre-July 27th. I'll give you a second. Okay, now take a look at these swings post-July 27th. See anything? Probably not, but if you did, it's probably because you rewound the video again and watched it again and again and again, and if you did, kudos to you, but I'm going to give you the answer right now. If you watch PCA swing before July 27th, there is a very subtle bat wiggle before the ball is delivered. You could barely see it before, but now it's virtually non-existent. This to me means that he and Dustin Kelly likely identified something about his swing that they needed to simplify. Simplifying a swing can also simplify a hitter's ability to make better decisions at the plate. So with less bat movement before the pitch, there's less to think about, and there's more of a chance that the bat is in the ready position to hit. I believe this, more than anything else that we've talked about so far, has helped PCA hit fastballs hard, read pitches better out of the hand, and make better decisions at the plate. But okay, one more thing. Here's a bonus. He's made one more change. He's now sitting back and holding his weight on the back leg longer and keeping his weight back on contact. It was tough for me to see this from a number of different angles that I tried to identify, but I did get confirmation from a source close to the team that this is in fact the case. This 22-year-old has made adjustments at every level he's been in, from the minors to the majors, and you're seeing it right now. The proof is in the pudding. If you like this video, then you will love my video about what makes Justin Steele so good. Here it is.